the Ringside Club, Paul, A.O., Blame Boogie, Chad Law. The power's back, triple power bomb. The big dog trio in the stream yard. Go outside, hit the venue guard. It's all love when you see us, Lord. Back to the pad, on air for the pod. Ringside Club, intro to the squad. Let the show start. Peace, 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 peace. What up, though?
Over here trying to do work at the same time. Got about to slip the laptop. We good though. We good. We back.
Man, popped back up on the screen on some hidden camera joint. He was like, oh. What up, man?
Back.
First episode of the 2-5, man. How we feeling? How we looking out there?
Winter break is over. The Geysers are back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good. The bruv back in the country. You know what I mean?
Back in the country, man. It was kind of spooky too, because I was out of the country right before Big Orange got back in the office. And I was like, this might be treacherous coming back to the States, but man, it was nice, man. I think the last episode we did was somewhere around mid-July. Definitely before
World's
Christmas.
End.
Right around World's End. So between then and now, man, it's been rather busy on all of our fronts for sure. So it's good to get back on these internets, man, and talk a little graps. Royal Rumble is right around the corner, a couple days.
We got a winter break. Quick little winter break for y'all, you know what I'm saying? But don't worry, we ain't one of them pods that's like, nah, yo, it's over, it's a wrap. It's like, nah, man, we got lives going on outside of the pod. Y'all, if there's anything I've divulged in our winter break, everyone still really does not like AEW on that side. So it's like there's always going to be a show bashing AEW. So you don't have to worry about coming here to feel like you have to hear that. And that's why I didn't want to just come back on and be like, yo, it's another show talking about AEW Dynamite and how mixed it was. It's like, nah, man, like, I'm kind of just like, we're going to pivot on the format a little bit of some of the show. You know what I'm saying?
Like I think like we was talking like super brief off air, but man, like for starters, when we've going back to the origins of the Ringside Club, the whole idea was that first of all, we're not responsible for we're not reporters, we're not journalists, we're not out here covering just to cover. We're not giving you news. Anything that we would talk about on this podcast is definitely something that you've probably seen somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like we're not Sean Rossap, for example, is probably the guy to go to if you want breaking news and reports and all of that. That's actually vetted and verifiable. Right. I don't talk to anybody backstage. You know what I mean? So that's not what this show is about. And it's also not one of those weirdo shows where people feel like they got to pick sides and they represent this country as a company rather. Like people really get into that bag and you don't really get paid by any of these companies. You don't own a piece of any of these companies.
It's the content. That's all. The content.
No, I know exactly what it is. But there's people that don't even understand that game. Like people are polarizing on purpose because they know that you're going to react to it. And that's how they get their numbers up. And if there's anybody that understands the power of a headline, for example, it's definitely the two of us because we have the background of everything in my fridge right now was paid for by words that I wrote. You know what I'm saying? So, and we're not playing those games either. We're here to have a good time, right? The Ringside Club, not the backstage club, not the rumor club, not the I want to be in the ring club.
Yeah.
No.
Bro, I just listened to a lot of shouting from a lot of other notable, reputable, and somewhat respectable for the most part, you know, content creators that are in the wrestling space. And just in gathering my ears, you know what I'm saying, on their platforms, I'm just like, these companies, particularly AEW, just really got a lot of y'all like jumping out the gym. So angry.
Got it. What up? Why?
Scott, what up, yo? Like, you damn near gotta turn the volume down. Like, yo, why are you shouting over like AEW? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know I have not agreed with a lot of the things, but it's just like, dog, I don't care to like pop a blood vessel for a view. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and like the other interesting thing is that there are people that do enjoy regardless of what promotion, New Japan, TNA, AEW, WWE, NXT, MLW. Like you can go down the line of all of these promotions, and you're gonna have pockets of fans that really do genuinely love more of what that promotion is doing than less.
Yes.
So kind of just dig into what you like. Like I haven't been as active on social, even that active watching wrestling over the last month and a half. But generally speaking, there's a lot of times where I'll just pop up on the timeline and I'll see like a lot of complimentary commentary about what's going on in various promotions. That means people do genuinely enjoy it. So talk about what's like people forget that this is supposed to be fun. We're talking about people pretending to fight.
Yes.
You
That
understand?
is correct.
Like, if you
Scripted story.
understand how ridiculous this whole thing is, look at an Irish whip and ask yourself if that actually makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? If it's not fun, watch something else, man. Like, but I digress. What I do know is that we are here to have fun. This is the
You
first
bet.
episode of the Ringside Club in the year 2025. So I hate to be that guy, but happy new year to you. But 2 days before February, right? Happy New Year and all that. But
Happy New Year.
we definitely live on a Thursday, 9:05 live. We'll get back to what we usually do. But before we actually do delve into talking about some graps, want to let everybody know that you are tuned in to the Ringside Club, and this is, I believe, episode number 114.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
nice number. My name is A.O. Baker. Peace to the good sir Blaine Boogie, who is 1/3 of the Ringside Club as well, and might pop in at any given moment. You never know. He pop in through the roof. Chad, what up?
Yo, I'm feeling good, man. It's Younger Davi himself, CHADLAW. Good to be here talking graps with my brethren. You know what I'm saying? We got so much to catch up with y'all. But if y'all haven't already, make sure y'all go to my Instagram, Chad Law. Check out all the CL First Listens on my TikTok, Chad Law, CL First Listens. Y'all can get every single album that I reviewed in the last year. If y'all haven't been familiar with Elijah Rosario, check his music out as well. And now we back in the wrestling space. Winter break is over. WrestleMania season is upon us. We going to Vegas, right? We got to go to Vegas, man.
Just might,
We
just
got to
might.
go
We
to
gotta
Vegas.
talk about it. There's a few events that we might have to be at. I know TNA is at UBS. That's a must.
That's for a little while though. We got some time for
Yeah,
that.
that's later on in the summer. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
we
like
got some
this.
time.
There's some joints coming up even in the area that I definitely want to.
House of Glory.
Haven't been to HOG in a while. I know I got to move around in general with some of these because I got a nice little drop coming up. I'm trying to get these might get these hats moving right around
See
like a
the
month
hats
before
going right
Mania
now.
season. Yeah, I got one on right now. This ain't like I'm just rocking it just to rock it, but this is a nice little special. It's got a special feel to it, bro. This is high quality. This is good
It looked
quality,
like
man.
it. It looked like some money,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. This is good.
Make
This
sure
is a
y'all
good
get the
movie.
cups too. RSC. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
saying? Good beverages.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Since we're back in the building, let's just
We got promotions that have been moving and
yeah,
shaking in the last 4 weeks since we've had our break. I think we could start with TNA and we'll work our way down to Royal Rumble. TNA, for the most part, Joe Henry, the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Masha Slamovich is the Impact Knockout, well, TNA Knockouts Champion. Moose, the X Division Champion. Mance Warner and Steph DeLander are the Digital Media Champions. The Hardys, the Tag Team Champions. And I think I've got all the titles covered for TNA as far as that goes. The current landscape, Santana. He's currently one of the
yeah.
big dogs. Number one contenders, prime spot. Just beat Josh Alexander.
Same with Mustafa Ali just signed.
Yes, and has made a proclamation for the World Heavyweight title picture, which I
Yeah,
think is going to be really great grabs for the main event scene in
yeah.
TNA moving forward.
The bit
And
that I've tapped into for TNA, I've enjoyed. I saw what was the event the last pay-per-view
Genesis,
Genesis, yeah. So
fun.
I watched that. It was a fun show.
That
That
was
was a
fun.
really, really fun show. And a lot of like moving parts and kind of, shifting of the tide, so to speak, because we know that Jordan Grace is out of here. She's officially signed, I believe, as per Fightful. She's signed
Yes,
with WWE.
swerving people, so to speak, for the Royal Rumble this weekend, saying that she's going to be home with her folks for her mom's birthday. So
Yeah.
that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
That is cap a fact.
Home is where the heart is, so she'll be home with her folks in the Royal Rumble.
You know what I mean?
You know
We'll
what I
see how
mean?
this goes. If that Photoshop wasn't damn good or what.
I like Mance Warner in TNA. You know, when I saw
Oh,
the debut, I
man.
think there's a large portion of that audience that doesn't know who Mance Warner is.
Yo, dog, that had
But
to
Mance
go
Warner,
down
yeah,
one of the
but that's
quietest.
yeah, but I think
Yeah.
that means that there's room. Like I don't think everybody can expect that you're gonna get that holy shit he's here pop when you're coming from MLW. Like let's be fair. You know what I mean? Like
GCW. He
MLW,
was the GCW champ for like a year.
and again, like GCW, I haven't watched like 5 minutes of GCW in the
I
last three
did.
years, bro.
We could give a quick little segment after TNA, but I did catch GCW that last pay per view they did
you,
with
you, you're in the trenches, my guy.
Yo, we ain't been podding. I've been watching mad content. I've
My
been
man
tapped in.
said, "Yo, I'm watching only around the corner pro wrestling
Yo,
that I can
dog.
watch."
Around the corner pro is back, baby.
Yo, around the corner pro is where it's at. Holy moly!
Yeah, around the corner pro is definitely back in action, man. I have been tapped into everything, man. I gotta get this off. Pause. Like it's a lot of wrestling that we've had to divulge into, man. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
nah,
So,
but like let me like just finishing up on Mance Wonder. I like Mance Wonder. Like he to me did a had a nice run in MLW. He's just a
he did.
brawler. He's a brawler. You know what I
He
mean? He's
did.
entertaining, and I think his promos are entertaining. So I'm looking forward to see what Mance Wonder does in TNA. I like Mustafa Ali. I like the trajectory that Mike Santana is on. He had that match against Josh Alexander. For starters, that the match with Mike Santana versus Josh Alexander at HOG
A1.
was fire. So I was definitely looking forward to the TNA version, and they delivered as well. Josh Alexander's out of there. So the cool thing about that was I'm now passing what do they call it, the standard. Like Josh Alexander passed on the mantle of the standard over to Mike Santana. And Santana, I think, is definitely the next guy. Like whether it be beating Joe Hendry, whether it be because Stop Cash is in. Either way, I think
Yo,
Mike
dog,
Santana wins that
he
title.
re-signed with TNA. It won't stop, man.
Oh,
Like
he did?
yes, he's one of the TNA re-signs, like photos. Like it's crazy. Like he won't go away. And unfortunately, I feel like he could be a TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
But I don't think it'll be like it'll be a reign. I don't think that Mike Santana beats Joe Hendry because they're both like
No,
very popular faces. So I think you have to have Kaz beat Joe Hendry. I don't think Joe Hendry's title reign is supposed to be long. I think you have Kaz beat Joe Hendry.
do you think so? I think it could be. I think it could be Ali. I think Ali could be the one to do it,
Yeah, but I
and
mean,
then have an
if
extended reign.
if I was about to say if Ali beats him, he's gonna have a longer reign than not.
Yeah,
So it depends on how quick they actually want to, get that title to Santana. Because Santana could win it at UBS. That's pretty much backyard, right? So
true,
he could
true,
win it at
true.
UBS.
I'm happy for Santana, man. Shout out to Mike
Yeah.
Santana. This is long deserved. It
Yep.
like just watching his promo from Impact Live was like, damn, like we watched him come a long way from
Right.
TNA LAX, you know what I'm saying? Proud and powerful, being stuck in the mud, then having the rebirth, the singles run, the GCW match with Matt Cardona. And
Yeah.
now he looks like he's in the best shape and the best position of his
Yeah.
life, posed to actually advance further. And I
Doing a
think
hell of
that
a job, man. Doing a
it's
hell of a
dope.
job. Like it's one of those things. Like I remember when Santana, when the news came out that he wanted out of AEW, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's never gonna get better for you. That you should just stay there. You should just collect the check. You should just play your role, whatever, whatever. And that's always said a lot of times to people that see better for themselves. And Santana not only saw better for himself, but he made a way.
Yes.
And in a matter of months, we're going to be talking about Santana, the world champion of TNA, world champion of House of Glory still, I believe. And now the world champion of TNA on the upswing of TNA. TNA is on the up,
Yes.
So
It's only going to be a matter of time before he's in NXT, promoting that in NXT. So,
hey,
I look forward
Santana
to
in
it.
the NXT ring is interesting because I can't like I've been next to him once to take a picture and he's tall, but I can't tell like how tall he is compared to other people. But he's also brolic. It's very jarring to see somebody that brolic do like a 450.
Yo,
You know,
I don't even want a fantasy book but there are quite a few names that if they jumped into NXT through this new portal, I think are going to be big stars, and Mike Santana is going to be one of them. And I think TNA knows that. That's why they're just like, hey, we're
Yeah,
going to keep you right here in this little incubus and get you hot. And I think a feud with Mustafa Ali for the next 6 months,
yeah.
back and forth,
I
blood
love.
feud,
Yeah,
that could get him over to where it's like, yo, Santana and Ali put on a banger at Bound for Glory
yeah,
or Slammiversary. Like,
yeah,
yo, put the title on either of them. Like, that's Nick Nemeth has done what he can do. Like, I appreciate what he's done. Watching his match with Joe Hendry, I was just like, damn, like this was cool. This was good. You're on Busted Open, but I just don't know where you land next. Like,
I was about to ask, has there been any conversation about Nemeth's contract with TNA? Is he still there, re-signed, free agent? Like, what's his deal?
nah, you don't hear anything. If anything, I just find it peculiar that a lot of talent are with Busted Open, and they're kind of. I mean, Thunder Rosa, she's kind of just been, further down. But Nick Nemeth is good too. He's been the world champion, but I just don't know if I just can't see him in the wrestling space like right now. Like I don't know where his place is. Like,
Yeah, I
do
think
we see him jump the portal? Because if he jumps the portal, is he going to be Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth?
I was
You know what I'm
thinking that
saying?
I would keep Nemeth at this point. You know what I mean? But like with Nick, and even to that point, if he's with TNA, I think the next logical step for him is to pull a heel move. But I also think like it just can't be the same version of Nick Nemeth, but just boomy now. Like the cool thing about TNA for somebody like Nick is I think it gives him enough space and room to kind of experiment a little bit. Like, what's a different vibe that you can give off for your character? Like you have all the room in the world, I think, to try it. I think they'll give him the enough freedom to do it. So I'd like to see it. I thought that the JBL popping up, you know,
Still no explanation. I'm not mad at it. I fuck
no,
with
I
it.
think it's cool.
Just
Like, if there's mystery, cool. Like, it's intriguing.
it's
But
been almost a year-long mystery though. That's crazy enough. Like they
yeah,
ain't said like there's been no talks. Like it's just he just
yeah,
pops up at the end of the match, clotheslines anybody and everybody and dips. And it's like I'm rocking, but I'm also just like, yo, this is gonna pay off at some point because he hasn't favored
yeah,
anybody. We thought it was for Nick. We thought it was for Hendry.
right.
Nobody said a word, and he's
Yeah.
podcasting his whole way through this. So it's like I don't know. Well, I don't know.
And
I'm
what's
listening to the
even
pod.
better is like when he was on WWE the other day. Was that Raw that he was on?
Yes,
Completely like just WWE gimmick JBL. He ain't coming out in the long coat. He's coming out in the suit with the so with the big
making a
goofy
reference though.
grin.
He definitely they made a reference about him just doing his little tour, doing running
Yeah.
around and shit. So I like that. I did appreciate that, but. It's anybody's ball game with TNA. Tessa Blanchard, tough call. A lot of people don't fuck with her. They don't like her. They don't care for her. I personally think she's talented. I've been there. I was there through the shitstorm days when, you know what I'm saying, she ruined Brian Cage's chances of looking credible by beating him and becoming the first female world champion in Impact. Sammy Callahan as well, too. You know what I'm saying? I was there for that. And I watched Tessa progress in that time and before then. And granted, I know people are gonna feel backlash for this shit, but yo, man, like, let her just show and prove this shit. Like, let her just show and prove. That's it. She's here. What are we gonna do? Bitch and boo and say we hate TNA because we don't hate TNA. I love TNA. Like, this was a business move they made, and they made it. So we gotta roll with the punches. Hulk Hogan is still promoting a whole fucking beer. Sidebar: I'm going to try to not curse anymore for the Ringside Club content this year. I'm gonna try to keep it
All
clean
right, I'm with it. I'm with it.
because I like
Piece
I
of the
like listening
algorithm.
to shows that just are clean and
Yeah.
friendly for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A lot of the vulgarity could just be a little bit too loud and excessive at times. And especially with a lot of our peers in the content space, all they want to do is just shout the curse words about everything wrong with every company and then add F, S, B, and all the other words that go along with it. So we're gonna keep it clean. But
I'm with you on that. Okay. My
we'll keep it clean.
vocabulary is extensive enough that I believe I can pull
Yeah.
that off.
Give him a
Do
Mickey
that.
freaky bull spit. You know what I'm saying? Like, gosh darn, like we'll keep it like solid with them, but
Dag Nevin, I'm gonna tell you what.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. We try to touch different algorithms at the Ringside Club as we get deeper into our endeavor. So we're gonna keep it clean. But Tessa, it remains to be seen. That's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. It just remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think I'm in the space of Tessa is obviously very talented in the ring. and there's a lot left to be desired outside of the ring. I think Tessa and Hulk Hogan are in a similar boat. When you talk about, if you ask them, they're going to tell
Promoting
you
a
that they've,
beer, bro. Come on, he's got
yeah,
a whole beer being promoted on my Netflix every
look,
week.
they're in the same boat from the sense that if you ask them, they tell you that they've apologized and made amends, and that means that neither one of them get the point over their head. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said,
What
it's
we
pretty
gonna do?
much,
We gonna sit here and write about it and be pissed off every week on Twitter, every day on Twitter. Just I hate Tessa Blanchard. I'm not gonna watch TNA. That's cap. You gonna watch TNA? Shut up. Like you know you're going to watch this product. Will
yeah.
you
I
skip
think,
her match?
look,
Maybe,
I think
but
there's to me
probably not.
there's always nuance and context when it comes to having a conversation. You know, if I'm having a conversation about a Tessa Blanchard match, I'm having a conversation about a Tessa Blanchard match.
Yes.
It starts and stops there. You know, I clearly
We
don't rock with anything on a personal level, but I also
respect.
don't know any of these people. So, what you
We
want?
don't know them personally. We literally just follow them in the wrestling space that they've been in for years on end. That's all we can even say. I guess we could wrap up with TNA. That's TNA. Jordan Grace is officially WWE bound. It's gonna be fun. I don't know where she lands because that women's division in NXT is stacked right now, dude.
Yeah. I mean, wherever Jordan Grace goes, I think she immediately. I saw maybe she skips like NXT
He goes right to the main
and goes
roster.
right to the main roster because I think like Raw and SmackDown probably need a little bit more life right now, women's division wise, than NXT does. I think NXT is rolling right now.
Bro,
Correct?
you can't, like, Zarya has fallen to the wayside at this point. And it's like she was the big thing along with Stephanie and Julia, and now it's like you couldn't find Zarya with a milk crate, you know what I'm saying, with a milk carton, wanted poster. I don't like, not that it's a bad thing, like, not that it's like she's done anything bad, but that's how stacked that division is. Like, we still got to let Kalani Jordan flesh out as a heel now, budgeting. Jada Parker on the rise, Sol Ruka on the rise, like, that NXT women's division is stacked. So it's just tough where Jordan
Yeah.
Grace can land amongst that. Stephanie McCoy is in the
And then
mid-card women's division.
yeah,
Because the top tier is already
exactly. And
stacked.
then I also think like because we have that NXT and TNA partnership, there's so much room even between the two divisions for some. That's a whole division in itself, you know, when you start interacting with some of the women that are in TNA. So I think like Jordan Grace going to, plus we have mid card women's championships. We have the US and the Intercontinental, correct?
The US to me has a bright spotlight, two green, big, giant green checks next to it with Chelsea Green being champion. And the women's intercontinental title, I can already tell, is going to be the black sheep of the mid
But
card.
I think that's exactly why you bring Jordan Grace and, you know, have her start old school from the mid and work her way up. Because I think like whether it be US or Intercontinental, that makes sense and there's some energy and some freshness there.
She comes through, beats Lyra Valkyria, and gives us a reason to care about Lyra Valkyria by forcing Lyra to be like, yo, fuck all this babyface, no character, Irish woman shit. Like, I'm about to just whoop Jordan Grace's ass and be a dominant heel. Like, you're right. Like, that's
Sidebar. Clean RSC just went out the window right there.
damn. Damn. All right. Wait, what'd I say? What'd I say?
You said a lot.
Shit. Ah. All right. We're gonna make more amends moving forward. You know, test run. Just know we're making more valiant efforts, folks. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to keep it clean. But I mean, hey, at least we're cursing like in fun, light, human way. These other guys are just literally like blasting curse words and like they're mixing the curse with the hatred. Where it's just
mad.
like,
Yeah, mixing the cursing with the hatred is funny. They're upset, man.
Yeah, I mean, we say it lightheartedly, but yeah, Jordan Grace to come through and steamroll over Lyra Valkyrie and take the Intercontinental title. I'm with that. I'm totally with that because I don't see much happening with Lyra the Intercontinental title. Just going off her backstage segment alone with Ivy Nile. I was like, yeah, man, that title's already gonna be fried. But yeah, that's TNA. We won't go too much on the TNA deep dive. GCW, I don't really got too much. I'm gonna rap about GCW. I'm just Ali. I think I mispronounced.
Yo, bro, you was really watching GCW?
Yo, yeah, I was tapped in, man. I'm watching everything. Yo, did you know? You know somebody's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Tom Lattimore. I didn't even know
Tom
that.
Lattimore sounds familiar. What did he used to go by?
He's Camille's husband. He went by I think Bram.
Bram. Okay, yeah, he
Yes.
was in TNA.
He is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion,
Yeah, okay.
actually. So he's the one who beat EC3 for the title, and he's been having the quintessential babyface shoulder shrug title reign of a guy that's the NWA. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't Cody Rhodes' title reign, it ain't Swerve's title reign. It's just
Bro, I
Tom Latimer.
remember when Cody won that championship, the TNA. I think that was definitely the peak. That was a really good show too, because I think it was like the Midnight Express, no, Rock and Roll Express, pardon me, versus the Briscoes, I believe, on the same card that Cody either won or lost the TNA. Like they had a couple of shows. That era might have been maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
16, 17.
Yeah, where they had the YouTube show first came back. That's where I was introduced to Ricky Starks. That's where I was introduced. Ricky Starks was just at HOG the other day, by the
Yes,
way.
he
I think
was. He looked
against
so happy to
Santana.
be in a wrestling ring. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, you know, Effie's the GCW World Champion. Allie Ketch, I want to say, broke her leg. Like that shit looked painful, man.
I saw that clip. It was like an outside the ring type of vibe, and her
That looked tough.
joint was turned backwards, man.
It's been a lot of botches. We'll get that as we break down the companies, but it's been a lot of freak injuries going on as of late.
Yo, peace to JD McDonough.
As I said, when we start breaking down, we get to each company. Yeah, it's been a lot of freak accidents going on in these companies. Allie, get well soon. That's it. That's all I'm gonna speak about with GCW. JBL shows up. Before we pivot off GCW, where do you think the JBL story ends or goes?
I don't know where it's been because he's just popping up. Like
he's just popping up in different
I
promotions.
can't put logic to anything he's doing. He's just doing stuff.
He's showing up in your main event and clothesline and whoever and everybody.
Yeah. So I don't think it ends with what I thought was going to happen. Generally speaking, not even attached to a particular wrestler, but what I thought was happening was JBL was popping up because he was going to angle himself into being, you know, a guy that champions a younger guy that's active, and that's his guy, not as a manager, but just almost as an advocate, the same way that Heyman is. You know,
yes.
I wouldn't expect him to be there every event, every show, but for big shows, I could see JBL, you know, talking trash on behalf of who he deems to be that he's, you know, he's passing the torch to. But I can't actually like map out based on what he's done to see what he's going to do because none of it makes any sense. He's just popping up.
He's keeping it that way, so I gotta respect that.
Old dirty bastard, no father to his style. You know,
I'll take that. Before we end with WWE content, let's shift over to our pals on Wednesday and Saturday. Man, it's the All Elite Wrestling.
The AE dub.
AEW, brother. What is to be said about this place that everyone in the wrestling content space doesn't already say?
I don't know. I'll tell you what I like. I like the fact that we have Ospreay and Omega doing what I believe the Don Callis family was put together to do in the first place, which was to heat Omega up, have him run through the Don Callis family. There's a lot of history, obviously, between him and Callis. But now when you have the history that Ospreay also has between him and Omega, I think this is a nice platform for both of them. And I also can't tell. Quote me from the last episode. What I thought they were doing with Moxley was he was eventually going to lose to Omega. I think we're still on that trajectory, but I could see it being either of these guys, Omega or Ospreay, once the Don Callis family thing kind of wraps up a bit. Because I really don't see anybody else beating Mox. You know, I think it has to be somebody that the fans are already like super invested in and has been active and conquering the bad guys. And the bad guys right now, as far as Ospreay and Omega are concerned, it's the Don Callis family. So I like that. I like the fact that the Hurt Business are the tag team champs. Private Party had.
I don't want them to ever lose the belts. How about that? I want them to have a year-long title reign mandatory because there's no other team in the division that's going to stand up to them. They feel like the Black Brothers of Destruction. Like, remember the other week when we were talking about when I was giving that breakdown about Kane and Undertaker and how Undertaker said, like, yo, we couldn't stay a team long because we were so gigantic. Like, we literally are beating everybody. And you kind of disputed that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got a rebuttal for that. But
Keeks, what
Hurt
up?
Cakes was good, girl.
Peace, peace.
Hurt Syndicate, like, yo, they got to keep the belts for at least a good year, man. It sounds fucking insane, but yo, there's no other tag team to me that can take the belts from them comfortably because they can have so many good feuds, man. Like them and FTR, them and the finally having the Boar Horseman challenge for them whenever they drop the trios titles, like the Outrunners. There's a lot of teams that look credible because of the size of the champions. Pause.
Yeah.
Private Party didn't look credible as much as we were behind them. They just looked like, you know what I'm saying, the homies out of Brooklyn. Respect to the homies out of Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? But they just look like,
But look,
they don't
outside,
look like the Hurt Syndicate.
no, they don't. But I think there's two different vibes there, bro. What could have happened, and this is, man, I will die on this hill, that it's never ever about much more than do you have a good feud and credible challengers. That's what's going to determine the quality of a title reign. There was no real plan for Private Party other than winning the titles. Clearly, they didn't do anything. There was no actual feud that they were then put in. For example, I thought that they were going to be doing something interesting with either Top Flight or Leo Rush and Action Andretti.
They did.
No, no, no. They didn't do anything interesting. They had a couple, like a quick little
So
whatever.
they did.
There
They did
wasn't anything
stuff.
interesting that actually happened with those interactions. So even with the Hurt Syndicate, is going to, we could again ad nauseum. I've said this 2 million times. In 2 months, if there isn't anything interesting that's been lined up for the Hurt Syndicate, people are going to then start to say, we need to get the titles off of them and put it on such and such
I don't
because
think so.
nothing is happening.
I don't
Now, what
think
I
so.
think the Hurt Syndicate has going for them is that they are just plain out entertaining. It's fun
They're
to
the
watch
most
people,
over faction
but
since
right
they
now,
kicked in the door.
but again, right now,
I
what
don't.
happens when people get tired of the squash matches? What happens when people get tired of like
They're not even
LOL Hurt Syndicate
squashes.
wins?
They're not even squashes.
What
Shelton.
happens when it's LOL Hurt Syndicate wins?
Yo, I would love to finally feel like I'm in an era where it's LOL Her Syndicate.
I'd like to find
Yo,
out.
I'm
I'm just
actually
being
down with that.
realistic about the climate. I understand how wrestling fans just jump out the
I'm
window
down.
and then try to climb back into the window that they jumped out of.
Yeah, hey, were you there for the LOL Bobby Lashley wins era of TNA?
Absolutely not. I don't even think I was
Yeah,
watching wrestling.
I want that back. Like, he was the X Division, the world champion, the king of the mountain champion. And I want to say he was the tag team champion, but AEW said this is the first time he's held the tag titles. But I want to say he had the tag titles by himself. Like, that's how many belts he collected in TNA in that last run. So,
Look,
like,
I'm all for this reign. Don't
I
get me
want
wrong.
that. I want
Don't get me
Armageddon
wrong.
Bobby
All I'm
Lashley.
saying is Private Party could have had a good reign if there was a plan.
Well,
There
you
was
know
a
who else could
plan.
have had a good reign too, right? That's currently holding the title. Your
Who?
boy Danny Garcia. You know, who's currently.
I can't call, like, I can't get into the weeds because I don't know what anybody's been doing. But
I'll literally give you the update on every champion is doing. So Danny Garcia is currently embroiled in a potential feud with the Undisputed Kingdom, which could be him defending the TNT title against all three members. Saturday it's him versus Lee Moriarty and Kyle O'Reilly in a triple threat, which I think should be a good win for him. But I think Daniel Garcia has just been, you know, same with Private Party. Like all the originals that we championed to get a title all got their titles, and it's just kind of been crickets. And, you know, that's kind of been the unfortunate part. But I popped crazy when Hurt Syndicate won them belts, man. That's why I said there's a bright spot of some content on AEW. Hurt Syndicate, man. We heard people. We
oh,
heard people.
it's fun.
We heard people. Like, yo, somebody got to be a credible enough team to take the belts from them, in my opinion. Like when we have a new Outrunners, I think they've already. It's not happening, man. It's not happening.
I don't know if I would have put. I also wouldn't have put the title on Joe Hendry, right? But so
Not that
kind
it's
of
a
that
bad
same bag.
thing, but I wouldn't sacrifice the Hurt Syndicate for the Outrunners right now.
I also, yeah, I just don't think that the titles. I
We
don't
are.
think that reaction always necessitates a title reign. I
Fair.
think like you have a cool act, let the cool act be a cool act. Sometimes I think credibility should kind of, trump the
Because
reaction.
it is the week to week booking, and there is the rumor report swirling around of Swerve and Lashley finding each other again in a feud. That is the only asterisk that I will put on a potential greatness of this title reign. Is like, hopefully they don't like pivot back to that. As dope as the feud could be continuing on, I just don't want to see the tag titles again have to be sacrificed for the sake of a really good singles feud. So
1 second, sir.
I got
Carry
you.
on.
We hurt people, y'all. Takeshita, still international champion. I'm cool with Takeshita being international champion, man. Like, he's still putting on some quality matches when he is wrestling. He just won the open weight championship, I believe, the open weight strong championship. I can fix that up in the chats if you don't know the title at the top. I'm not looking at the cards, but he just did win another belt, so Takeshita is a double champ.
You said Takeshi's a double champ?
Yeah, I think he won the never open weight championship, I want to say.
Ah.
So
See,
he
I
might.
haven't even been tapped into NJP Dub too tough.
Yes.
I
So
will say, like I saw, not to jump off, somewhat related, but Wrestle Dynasty was dope because that was Omega's return
yeah.
versus Gabe Kidd.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody that's watching this show hasn't seen that match,
That was a bang.
that was fire.
Gabe Kidd is definitely on the map. I think he needs another good year in New Japan before he even touches the soil of AEW or WWE rumors. Like, we still got to let him develop. I don't want to see him just pop up and be like, "Yo, it's a new hot signing." Like, oh, come on, man. Like, you ain't even get your character like to the max yet. Funny enough, you know who I think is going to do well in New Japan? Josh Alexander and Baron Corbin. Yeah.
Baron Corbin,
Yeah.
I think, is dope. And I think for whatever reason, he's been branded in a certain way amongst different groups of fans as being like either boring or we don't like him or whatever. I've kind of always liked what Baron Corbin brings to the table.
Did you catch his Chris Van Vliet?
Nah.
Made me like a way more, like, I'm a fan. Like, I think I've turned it around. Like,
What about the interview made you more of a fan of him?
just more down to earth and like more of the homie he feels like than I feel like is on screen.
Like I do see that he's always like cooking steaks and all that on like TikTok and Instagram.
He's very much so in tune.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel like he has to blur the line or deal with the tribalism stuff. He's like, yo, I'm aware I've been a WWE guy my whole life, but I know what's going on in AEW Ray Phoenix. I'm watching. I'm seeing how this contract situation's going. I feel like, yo, you signed a contract. You got to fucking wait it out, man. Like, it is what it is. He knows that he doesn't want to jump to AEW because he doesn't want to feel like another WWE guy that's coming over to take the spotlight and the shine and thunder of an AEW homegrown. He's like, yo, I want to go to Japan for a bit. I've never been to Japan. I want to see how that feels like and reinvent myself in a way that Lance Archer and other people have reinvented.
So I was gonna say, like, there's
then I'll go to AEW. And I was like, I like that.
I think there's a road for him right there. Like Baron Corbin in New Japan, because like his moveset is dope. I think his timing is dope. Like I think he's really, really good. And I
he
think he
spoke about how
brings
frustrated he was in that last run. He was like, yo, I was more over than like half the show during my last run. And they weren't buying it because they felt like this was going to be the time for you to just sink back down. We're going to give you the chance to shine, but we have no real plans for you to do anything other than future endeavor, buddy. And he was like, yo, it's crazy that like I was doing dark matches and I was getting the best reactions with Apollo Crews next to me. Like, people were like,
that sounds
the first
like
time in my career, I'm a babyface, and this is prelim to me getting the boot. Like,
was that more of like that sounds like a regime type of vibe, like the previous regime. Huh?
The Triple H regime, the new Levesque era, what he wasn't built into it.
Yeah, it basically sounds like that. Like, in any job, when somebody new comes in and they bring their people in, things change. So
they sent him to NXT to sink. He got so over with Braun Breaker that Braun Breaker gets called up, and then he gets called up again, and they're like, yo, now that you're back, we still don't have nothing for you, but you're over. The fans fuck with you,
right?
But that's it. So I think that's what made
we got a run in.
Yo, we was just talking about We were just talking about Baron
Yo,
Corbin, New Japan, and you show up. How crazy is
you
that?
know what I'm saying? It's me. It's me. The one
It's
man army
BBP.
Asan. You know.
BBP is in the building.
Who's out here on the car phone, man?
You feel me? I'm out here on the bag phone. I'm in here in the '89 Mercedes with the
Welcome
bag
to the
phone.
gang.
What y'all
Yeah.
doing tonight?
Yo, we over here talking about Baron Corbin, man. Being
Baron
TNA
Corbin. You
core
mean
heavyweight.
what's his name? Something Prescott something.
Tom Prescott or something? Yeah, I know. We was
I
talking
like
about
it.
him being a New Japan champion of sorts.
I enjoy the name. I enjoy him owning himself so that he can be whomever he wants to be in the
I
very near
agree.
future. You know.
Yeah,
I agree.
I like it.
But yeah, fellas, I just wanted
What's
to,
good with you, man?
I kind of, I hit you guys up. I'm like, tonight's a good night to pod, and then as every
Yo, dead ass.
Put it
in
on the go.
Bug's life, I become a super dad, and I put, I guess if you're gonna put your cape on for anything, it might as well be your fucking family, right?
Yeah,
You know that, man.
I concur.
Book dad.
Yeah, but yeah, fellas, I actually just brought my son out to a recording studio, which he was
Wavy.
super interested
About to get in the
in
lab.
seeing. Yeah, Zion's about to record his first
Get in the
project.
lab.
He's about to be 4 in July. We got to get him in there soon,
Yo,
But
ain't no
Somebody got to battle those West kids.
you know what I'm saying? He got all these kids drilling. He's just dribbling. He's still drooling a little bit. We're gonna figure that out. But nah, we're just chilling, bro. We just went to go check it out real quick. But Zion's gonna be tuned in watching the Royal Rumble with me this weekend. He's in the back seat right now. The world ain't really meet Zion yet. Yo, Zion, you got anything to say to everybody?
What's
What
the
you got to say?
science? What's the science, Zion?
Yo,
You
Zion,
got
who's gonna win the Royal Rumble, Zion?
yeah. What's today's mathematics, bro?
Make sure your son do the science.
He don't got that just
You
yet.
gotta do the knowledge.
We're
What's
working
what's
all that
today's
out. We're
Steiner's
working all that
mathematics,
out.
man?
Yes. But who's gonna win the Royal Rumble? Say it, baby. Say it. I know nobody wants to hear this, but it's gonna be John Cena. I know
That's
nobody
tough.
wants
We
to
ain't
hear
get to
that.
that part of the show yet, but best believe.
But whatever, guys. Nothing like another old white man to take the spot of young, vibrant talent. So
The urban community.
to acknowledge our present sins. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for holding down the Ringside Club. Thanks everybody that tunes in, listens,
Easy.
catches us. We are
Yeah.
actively on the go, and yeah, sometimes we're able to be on the go together. So catch us wherever you catch us.
WrestleMania.
I will
Catch
be
us now.
I will be putting my 2 cents in as far as who I really believe will win the Royal Rumble. I know I'm going to be tuned in because there's never been a time that anyone could win it more than now. So
That's the time where we're all we might as well live stream that night if we all gonna be at the crib.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
be at the crib.
I got invited to a couple watch parties, and I'll tell you, if my wife didn't have plans already, y'all would be we would be going to Philly to have fun this weekend for sure.
That's
But,
true. That's true. It is gonna be active out there.
but yeah, listen, folks, I got to get my son to bed. So, what do I always say? Yeah, fuck you, San Diego. And
Oh, yo, hold on.
my son already knows not to repeat this stuff, so y'all can say whatever you want about parenting. It's good.
That's what I wanted to say. This
Yeah.
2025, we are going to keep it a clean podcast, my boy. We're going to try our best to not curse. So we can get monetization. We can get a little bit more in the algorithms. We can keep
Damn. All right. All right. Let's start this over.
We're gonna sensitize this thing. So
let me rewind this real quick. Yo, everything y'all just heard ain't really happened.
That was all Zion. He's got a mouth on him, man.
He knew the mathematics, man.
Yo, Men in Black pen me, yo. Just hook me up. They ain't heard none of this. You know what I'm saying? But nah, for real though. Anytime I get a chance to talk about pro wrestling, which has clearly consumed my life to the point that I'm busier than I've ever been. Yeah, I appreciate
favorite wrestler's favorite designer, man. Holla at him.
Golly, man, I have a lot of fun, folks. But
listen, blame Bug, then pay Bug. You heard?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's the other way around. Pay me first, then you blame. Because
you gotta put it in the
technically, if we're being technical, you would have had to pay me to blame me for anything because I don't do shit for free. So you know, that's just how
Know
that
that.
works.
Fair
No, that's the
enough.
vibes.
But I said a bad word again. Clearly, I have a problem. So I will figure that out on my own time.
Here we go.
Speaking of keeping it clean, I don't know if legal is clean, but Zion, close your ears. I just got something for DT. Can't wait to crack the seal on that open as soon as I get home and put this guy to sleep. So you guys have for all our sponsors out there, go F yourselves and have a clean, safe
Look at us keeping it
2025.
clean. You see it?
Yeah, listen, man. I can say the first letter. I can't say the rest of it. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's all
But
vibes.
no,
It's all
dead
good.
seriously. All right, so I have a minor prediction. Just minor prediction before I go.
What you got?
Gonna drop it.
Yes, sir.
We get Alistair Black in the men's Royal Rumble. We get Jordan Grace in the women's Royal Rumble. That's an obvious. We obviously know we're getting Charlotte Flair. I think we're gonna get Becky Lynch. I think we're gonna see a lot more NXT talent in the Rumble than we think. And I honestly think that on the women's side, not necessarily the men's side of things. But that's usually what happens every year. We usually infuse some NXT in the women's Rumble. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be enjoyable. I think there's going to be a lot of fun. I think the highlight of the night is going to be Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes fighting for a belt that I didn't think was being defended since the 90s. But
Hopefully the end of their feud, by the way.
yeah, we hope that ends real soon. Shouts out to Kevin Owens' T-shirt run, as this is clearly the best thing going on in pro wrestling besides Penta.
Nah, it is. It is.
Um,
It is.
but
Good to
shouts
you.
out to y'all. I made it to my destination. There is light on my face. I am
Gee.
here. Um, yeah, I'm proud of us all adulting in our own time and space and still somehow
Know
being here.
that.
But
There you go.
I will be much more member of the Ringside Club soon. And I appreciate all y'all listening and checking in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But Old Dirty Bookster is our Boogler.
Yeah,
What I name
yeah.
myself? Old Dirty Boogler. Yeah. I'm let me get out of here and go dad super hard. So you guys have a wonderful evening. And if for some reason, some stretch of miraculous happenings, this child goes to sleep the next few minutes, I'll be right back to talk wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, man.
There you
We
go.
right here, man. We still got to get to the
Yeah.
Royal Rumble talk. We still in the AEW land, so be
Oh,
safe, G.
please, God, the Lord has spared you all from my AEW takes this evening for both my relationship with AEW and the rest of the world. So,
Yo, we just said like, yo, we gonna try to not shout and bash AEW like the rest of all of our peers in the content space do on a regular basis on their shows. You know, we trying to just highlight more of what we enjoy.
well, I will be honest.
It is tough to enjoy because a lot of this shit is
I'll be honest.
I mean,
The only thing I can even call to like honestly that I've seen was Mariah May and Tony Storm. I haven't been tuned in like that to AEW, so it's not that they're doing anything wrong. It's just I'm doing all the things right to be too busy to watch it. So that's really all it is. But shouts out to them. I'll catch up. I'm sure I will. I always do right before a pay-per-view happens. Anyway, I get up to speed just like you do when you binge TV shows. So I'll figure it out. But I hope everybody's safe out there. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves. Protect your families and yeah, just stay safe. This world is nuts. Other than that,
that's right.
Yep.
I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
Yes, sir.
Gee.
Ayo, I'll see you much sooner than Chad because me and Ao are plotting a world takeover. Chad, you could be a part of it too, but it started with our version of the Illuminati. So we have to have a meeting and bring you in on it. But I got you, and it's not wrestling related, so don't worry about it, Chad. Everything will be all right.
Say that.
But yes, let's get together. Let's talk. Cheers, gentlemen.
Gang, gang.
That was Blame Boogie, ladies and gentlemen, for the Ringside Club.
Niggas on deck.
I mean, what better way to start off a new year than all three members of the
Yes,
Ringside
that was
Club?
good.
I mean,
Good
from the
stuff.
car phone, he's stealing your gimmick, brother.
No, literally took that. You know what I'm saying? Bug live emotion. He
That's
outside.
gimmick infringement, man.
He outside, man.
That's like Legion of Doom staring off with Demolition. It's crazy. Crazy times.
Legion of Doom versus Demolition is fucking hysterical, by the way. Good Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. We were still in what? AEW, right?
We were in AEW talks. We could pivot out of here and get to Royal Rumble talk soon. But Grand Slam's coming up. It
Yeah, Grand Slam Australia is coming up. What's the card for that? Is the card already in? I know there's the tag match with Omega Osprey versus two members of the Don Callis family, who I believe is Kyle
Mariah
Fletcher and
May,
probably Takeshita
yes, and then also Mariah May and Tony
and Tony
Storm.
Storm. Yeah, yeah. I saw the
Uh,
clip from Collision. That's pretty flames.
I think they missed the mark by not having Tony show up this past week. That's just me though. I think she should have been there. I don't think we have anything going on with Mariah May in these promos because they're just not hitting. They're quiet. Like the reaction from Mariah May is just so
Yeah,
so.
yes and no. Like I think I did watch Dynamite this week, and I saw the promo, and I thought the promo was fine. I thought
The
there was
promo's
nothing wrong.
fine,
Yeah, I
but
thought
I
the
just feel
promo was
like
dope.
in
I think
totality, like there's never much of a reaction from Mariah May on
yeah,
that.
but I'm not even like in that case. Never mind the reaction because I think it's a matter of her reign has been pretty cold. But I thought that promo was dope because there's heat behind her feud with Tony Storm. So if this were happening like much earlier on in her reign, I think this would have got a bigger reaction. I just think people are tired of Mariah May. You know what I mean? So I think it's a matter of that versus whether that was good content or not. I thought the promo was good. You know,
There's only two matches confirmed, those two that we just said.
those two. Okay,
So it's gonna
and
be
that's on like a Saturday, right?
it's going head to head with Saturday night's main event,
Oh, there's another Saturday. Wow, what's the date for that?
February 15th.
Ah, interesting, interesting. Okay, okay,
So
okay. That feels like a old school button remote button hit. We'll flip
yes,
back and
so
forth.
that's gonna be fun. And then they
That's cool.
have Revolution March 8th, a couple weeks after that, where I think we get
Okay.
finally the payoff to Mox and Cope, which it's Cope's swan song to fighting all of the Shield members in big blow off singles matches. Do I think he wins the world title? No,
No, no,
not at all.
not at all.
Unfortunately, because the show is so riddled with a lot of Death Riders, it's unavoidable. You know what I'm saying? I like that Mox finally explained that he is the world title and he doesn't need to use it as a prop or to show it around and take pictures with it. So, like, I appreciate him finally explaining this. Something you could have explained the night after you killed Bryan Danielson, possibly. But, we're here now, so it is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's why none of the trios champions bring their belts out. This is where we're at now. Cool. Storyline, Death Riders, easily one of the lowest points of AEW all the time for me. We ain't going to go too much into it. The internet already tears that whole group to shreds. I did appreciate the fact that he explained what's going on for a change, but outside of that, it's going to be a long, 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 long world heavyweight title reign for Jon Moxley, man. It's going to be a long.
I think he loses it in what's May, double or nothing.
I really think they're going to go up to Darby thing, man. That's kind of why I'm just like, yo, even the Jay White thing, it's like there's so many contenders, but yet I don't care at the same time. Like I don't feel enthused
Because you don't think any of them are credible. That's why. Like you don't think any of the people that you're gonna say are lined up, whether it be Darby, whether it be Jay White, if it's any of those in that you know little group, none of them feel like, oh, that's definitely the guy that's going to beat Mox. If
I
it
actually thought
happens, it's a
I feel
good
Darby.
surprise.
I feel Darby, but he's going to do this Mount
I don't.
Everest thing, so it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Darby. Whether he was doing the mountain thing or not, I think I said before, like I think when Orange Cassidy was still in the title picture,
Yo,
and we
I'm
saw
so
Darby Allin popping in, I was saying like I really don't see either of these guys being the guy. I think you do need that room in a title reign where, and it's weird because this is like Mox's fourth title reign. It's not like it's his first, but you do need often to establish that this guy is a champ, credible people that guy can beat along the way, who may not feel like he has a real shot, but still they have enough that they bring to the table where it's a credible win, to kind of establish that this reign has some quality to it. But this is also Jon Moxley's fourth reign. It's not like we have to establish him as a top tier guy. Like he's been a top tier guy since he's been in the company. It's his fourth title reign. So this really doesn't need to be that long to me. This could be a title reign, especially with the fact that nobody's feeling it. they can definitely pivot, capitalize on the fact that there's fresh energy behind Kenny Omega. People have been wishing for him to come back for so long. Plus, you don't know how long, like, diverticulitis is tough. Plus, all of the different injuries that he's had along the way. Like, let's not squander the fact that there's a lot of energy behind Kenny Omega and he's healthy.
We
Take
still got to
advantage
get
of
Eddie
that.
Kingston in his return. That's not going to be until July, technically.
Yeah,
So,
but that doesn't need to revolve around the world championship
but it
either.
would be nice. Eddie Kingston deserves a good world title program. So all he's been through for the last couple of years in AEW. It would be nice to see him finally, like, you know what I'm saying, have one of those type of.
If Eddie Kingston wins the world championship before Kenny Omega regains the world championship, I don't know, you know?
I don't think the AEW crowd's going to like riot. I don't think they'd be like,
I'm
oh,
not saying right. I'm not even talking about the reaction of the crowd. I just think that, like, this feels like a good table setting for Kenny Omega. And then by the time we get maybe to All In, I can see them wanting to do the big epic Omega versus Osprey rematch for the belt.
it's tough. It's so tough because you still have Christian and the contract waiting in the wings at any point, which I'm here for. I'm here for Christian
Sure,
and Kenny.
but I also
But
look at Christian the same way, not in the same let's not take this out of context. But for the
we was
role,
about to go.
yeah, it's about to get crazy. For the role that they're playing right now between Kaz and Christian, I think they play the same role of a guy that is definitely transitional. This is not a long-term, long title reign
Fair,
type of vibe, you
fair,
know?
fair. I'll give you that. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. You got that. And then Eddie got to come back. Darby got to come back. Jay White's got to
Darby
have
got to make it past that mountain, bro.
if he makes it to the mountain.
Darby
We'll
has
see
to
how that.
survive.
Then
Darby's
you
on
got,
his own type of Survivor Series time, man. He's just out here jumping things, climbing things, jumping off of things.
and don't
Darby got
forget
to
we got to
survive.
have Jay White have his program, which I think will be him versus Moxley at Grand Slam because it's Australia. So I think that'll be the next victim. Then we get Mox in Copeland at Revolution, which should be an interesting match. You know what I'm saying? I think it just pivots at rated FTR for the trios titles more than anything.
Yeah, I think trios definitely for them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's the only like defeat that the Boar Horsemen end up taking is gonna be the trios titles. But outside of that, yeah, Mox is gonna have a hell of a long reign on deck, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. Shit, I guess we covered most of AEW, all the
Yeah.
champions, Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? Mercedes is gonna be there. Deanna Perrazzo's not happy. She wants more time. I don't think she's going to be seen ever again after coming out public with that. So I think that'll be the end of Deanna Perrazzo.
I saw Danhausen did a
What he
Van
say?
Vliet.
Did he?
Yeah, so I didn't watch it, but I saw like there was a headline where he's based kind of same vibes. Where, matter of fact, I read quote rather, and his gripe is basically, I am always among the top 3, top 5 merch sellers since I've been here, and even before that. When you look at Pro Wrestling Tees, who is the company that runs AEW's merch, I am always in the top 3, top 5. There's like CM Punk and this person, that person, and Danhausen. I'm right there. That should earn me more television time. And for whatever reason, it hasn't, you know?
Well, you know the speculation is he's a Punk guy, so that's anybody that's associated with that clique.
Sure.
Kind
But
of,
if that's the case, like, what do we actually, I don't know.
yeah, you know, we ain't gonna dive down that deep.
For me, like, I do business a different type of way, man. I'll just leave it at that.
So yeah, we probably won't be seeing Deanna Perrazzo anymore on TV. Her
Deanna Perrazzo or Danhausen.
or Danhausen. We won't be seeing Britt Baker anytime soon for a while.
Right.
It's unfortunate. You can add her to the list with Ricky Starks and Miro and Wardlow in the gang, Ray Phoenix and Posse.
So crazy list, a crazy list. And I think this is a very appropriate time
You,
considering that we're
Jeff
going to
Jarrett's eating up all the TV times, the most appropriate time.
insane. I think because like that's an appropriate, this is a nice little bridge in the transition because we're going to get in the WWE,
Yes.
but the bridge from AEW to WWE, how long have I been like yelling to the heavens about I want to see a singles run for both Ray Phoenix and Penta.
Fair. Yeah, yeah. You
And
can
we
say that.
saw that they so much was left on the table, in AEW when it came to Penta and Phoenix. And in 3 weeks, two of which were like on screen wrestling, and one was just a 30-second backstage. Penta feels like a big deal, you
Penta
know?
feels like he could be next year, next summer. He could be at the top of the ladder grabbing Money in the Bank. Or
Right.
he could be in the main event of Money in the Bank for the World Heavyweight title. Maybe
Yeah,
not winning, but he could be the marquee match of this
100%.
person defending against Penta. And we're like, yo,
I
Penta
don't think it's
world
even
title
so
match in
far out of the
2023?
realm to see like a really credible IC or US run just to start the vibes off with Penta.
You know,
You
it's
know, like
tough,
n-
bro. I
look at
kind
a
of
nice
want
little Penta versus Nakamura program. That's interesting. You know what I mean? Like look at a nice little imagine LA Knight, like he regains the IC, for example. Penta
US.
and,
Yeah,
and LA
US.
Knight. Like there's a lot of interesting matchups, but I think like they're gonna do right by like a singles Penta. I can't I still have to watch a bit more to see, 6 months down the line, like where do I see his ceiling in WWE? But I think they understand what they have. I don't think it's any coincidence whatsoever that on his debut, Michael Cole is very explicitly saying that there's Rey Mysterio and then there's Penta. That's kind of rare air a lot of times for people to be put in the conversation. Like you just debuted and we're comparing you to a Hall of Famer already.
We pen Penta down for having one of the best debuts in WWE history. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like treated like
Everything.
a
Look at
super.
how much time they gave him to talk. They
Never
understand what
even
they have with
heard,
Penta.
never heard him once in AEW. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Shout out to
they
TNA's
understand,
social media
and
team too.
I really appreciate the way that they have whatever word you want to use, coach or produce or whatever. The fact that the Cero Miedo joint is dope, but we don't need you to do it every 15 seconds. He uses it more sparingly, maybe once or twice during the match instead of 8 or 9 times during the match.
Agreed.
Small details. Like they've done a really, really good job, and
Yo,
I'm happy
dog.
with what they're doing with Penta.
You know what's something that I heard that I don't hear from a WWE crowd often? They go, "Ooh," when he hits the Mexican Destroyer. Like I almost was like, "Yo, when do I hear anyone ever say ooh at a WWE show?" Like,
Yeah. They've
like
done a really good job. They brought the what is it, they're calling the arm breaker, the sacrifice. So
sacrifice,
they've
but
done a
just
good job getting that over.
the detractors say it's a heel move.
It can be, but I mean, understanding what Penna's uh character actually is, he's not a good guy. He's popular. There's a
Yes,
difference.
he is popular.
Yeah,
That is
he's not a
crazy.
good guy. He's a popular guy.
Check
You
Penta
know,
Dark. Do
think
your
about
research.
there
Do your
you
Googles.
exactly. Exactly. Let's look at TNA. Let's look at Lucha Underground. Like Penn is not a good guy. But even if you want to just compare it to something in WWE, think about the bad guy Razor Ramon and how popular he was. He never changed his character. You just
You know,
decided to cheer him.
bro. I hope they keep him away from the Latin American division at the least. Before we get off Penta, I just hope they keep him away from the LWO, Santos Escobar, Hector Garza vibes, where it's like, yo, every week it's him versus Andrade for the next 3 months, and it's just like, well, that's the Latin American division, and everybody want to
Yeah.
look at me crazy when I say, yo, let's get a Latin American title. Like,
Nah,
what's
let's
wrong with
let's not do that.
it?
Let's not do that.
We're on time for it in the country? Nah, no
Nah,
Latin American title.
it would just be lazy and whack for them to do that. Um,
Dragon leaves the Latin American champion. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
we don't need to do that.
So,
But yeah, I'm happy what they were doing with Penta. Real quick, before like we can probably breeze through this real quick, and then we can jump into the Royal Rumble. Dark Side of the Ring. They announced that there's going to be a season 6. Season 6
yeah,
starts in March. I don't have the exact date, but I do have the lineup of episodes. I believe there are 10 episodes. Here are the topics. There's going to be one on the Hell in a Cell, Big Van Vader, Tony Atlas, Ludwig Borga, Billy Jack Haynes, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Superstar Billy Graham, Daphne, the original Sheik, and Muhammad Hassan. which of those like stand out as like, damn, I'm definitely tuning into that one live.
Muhammad Hassan, because I was there live for that era. I remember that SmackDown like it was yesterday when like they brought the Indian cats with the mask on, and they even like in the recap video they had the oh yeah yeah like it was like wild disrespectful. Like Vince McMahon was a savage at that time, dog. Like complete insanity. I think just because I watched it at the time and I was like, yo, this guy is really playing Osama bin Laden, and he's like beating the Undertaker up to an extreme extent, and he might be the world heavyweight champion soon. And turns out that was the plan, is to make him the world heavyweight champion. But unfortunately, they shot himself in the foot with choking the Undertaker out the same day as the London bombs went down. So it's gonna be fun to see the character. Well, to the character, but the person Muhammad Hassan, who's an Italian man, by the way, I think named Anthony
Yeah.
Bastioni or something, is going to be giving the breakdown of that whole segment. So that's going to be fun to see how that goes. Because I was there live for that era. I remember times. I totally remember times. So I'm looking forward to that. Daphne's going to be cool too. You know, anytime a wrestler commits suicide, they was going to give you a dark side of the ring to explain your story. So, you know, Daphne will have something to explain from her time as well. Legend in multiple companies. Yeah, those are probably my top ones. Looking forward to that. Well, looking forward to all of them, honestly, but
Yeah.
specifically that Muhammad Hassan one because I was in that era. What about you?
I'm looking at the Superstar Billy Graham episode because I don't know how much people really understand how much influence Superstar Billy Graham
I
had
don't. I'm
over
gonna have
so
to get
many
the
people.
science and the knowledge on that episode.
Yeah, like Billy Graham had a big influence on a lot of people. I mean, the Big Papa Pump version of Scott Steiner is directly from Superstar Billy Graham. You know,
Mm.
for starters, like there's a lot of people that got some influence. So I think that's going to be interesting because I'm not I know enough about like that side of him, but as far as like the dark side, no pun intended, I don't know how much of his story is actually dark. So I'm interested to see like, you know, where that story goes and what his career was about. But Billy Graham was a big influence. Another one that stands out to me is Ludwig Borga because I remember him again from a very, very specific uh time in my wrestling fandom. You
I
know,
know
this was
exactly what that name.
Ludwig Borga was like around it was in WWF around the Lex Luger, Lex Express era, you know. So we're talking about like 93, right around that time. Um, I think on the cover, that No Flows Bar project that I put out on that actual original
Survivor
artwork,
Series.
I think he's on that Survivor Series cover. But Ludwig Borga was basically like a a foreign heel. I forget what country in Europe he was representing, like Finland, I want to say. He was
Finland.
just a guy that I remember from that era. So Ludwig Borga is interesting, and you know Vader stands out to me um, because I've just been a huge fan. He's always one of those guys. Big Van Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow are always in the conversation for like best big man ever. You know what I mean? And Vader had a hell of a career. So there's some names in there, but like you, I'm looking at all of these. Like I look at these names. I think the one name on here that I know the least about is Billy Jack Haynes. So that's pretty cool as far as like I can probably learn a lot there from scratch. But yeah,
Ludwig Borga injured his ankle in a match with Rick Steiner on January 17, 1994, forcing the WWF to cancel future plans for the Borga character that scheduled an appearance at the Royal Rumble that year and a proposed WrestleMania match against Earthquake. He left the company soon after, and that was in WWE.
yeah, he wasn't there long whatsoever.
A
He was
year,
in WWF for a quick cup of coffee.
one
But
year. So what's his story though?
yeah, that's the thing. Like I don't know too much about the dark side of Ludwig Borga.
Oh,
You
he
know,
killed himself. That's why the story. Suicide. See, if a wrestler commits suicide, Dark Side of the Ring is going to most likely do a story on you. So there we go.
yeah. But there's some names. 10 episodes, Dark Side. What's the date? I don't know if you have the date pulled up.
I don't. Sometime in March though.
March 25th.
Yes, it is definitely March.
Season 6, March 25th, Dark Side
Right
of the
before
Ring.
WrestleMania season. Let's get it. Let's get it. And on the
So
way to WrestleMania season,
Speaking of
What
WrestleMania
about it?
season, I have the all of the confirmed names for both the women's and the men's Royal Rumble matches. Which one do you want to start with first? Or I also have the only other two matches confirmed for the Royal Rumble.
Start with the other two matches.
All right, so we have the Tag Team Championship 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY, the current champs, versus the Motor City Machine Guns. How do you see this match going?
I'm gonna go with Motor City Machine Guns picking up the belts just to get the 2-time tag team title reign underneath them. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, no argument for me. I can see that. I could. This is one of. I mean, again, I don't even remember when DIY won the title. So, have they had a long reign? How long has their reign been?
No, it has not been long. It has not been a long reign at all.
Right. But yeah, I can see that. Like to heat it up, sometimes the playing hot potato with the titles does work. So I could see maybe they run this back and forth a couple of times. I can see this being like the center of the tag team championship division on SmackDown between now and Mania. Maybe they
There's just so many good tag teams on SmackDown that it's like, damn, like I would not mind some more tag teams, being able to
yeah.
shine. It'd be nice.
But I think Motor City Machine Guns are still
Street
fresh.
Profits. Ahem, ahem, ahem. Like, I
I
miss
mean,
Street Profits being tag team champion. Bro, they haven't been champions since the Vince McMahon era in 2019. Like,
man.
I just, like, come on, man. If there's
I
one
feel
tag team I
about
want to see,
I feel about the Street Profits almost the way that I feel about or felt about the Lucha Bros in WWE. Different outcomes. Like, why don't we have the singles run with Street Profits? It's more about it's not necessarily why aren't we doing a singles run, is why aren't they having a tag team reign? Like the talent is there, the connection is there, the crowd likes them, the matches are
BFAB is even over. Like, people fuck with BFAB.
right. What I don't understand what we are or aren't doing or what the reasons are, but
People want them to
that's why
split.
I'm on this side of the camera, dude.
People want the Street Profits to split up. And to me, it's like, yo, they have only had but one title reign. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Like I'm
That's like you
really
getting your one chip, and then it's like, yo, let's break the whole franchise up after we got our one
yeah,
chip. It's
like
just like, yo, dog, what are we?
I'm
We have
not
one
with
title
them
reign.
splitting up because I don't think they've maximized the potential of the
Not
tag
at
team.
all. Not at all, bro. That's the shit that has me like. I fuck with like everyone wanted that whole black and gold NXT era with DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. Like I fuck with it. I salute, man. I get you. Like, I want that era, but like, yo, dog, come on, man. Like, we got to get some other tag teams in the fray here. we got to start getting some other guys over. Humberto, Angel Garza, pretty deadly. Like they're there. They're making attempts, but like we got to start. Just give them the shot. You know what I'm saying? Like let's give them the ball to run with for a bit. You like, but there's that match.
So you're going with
I'm going Motor City.
Motor City. Yeah.
Motor City just to get the quick 2-time tag team title run off top. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
The other match is the WWE Championship match. It's a ladder match. It is Cody Rhodes defending against the Canadian Dream, Kevin Owens.
This is gonna be, man, yo. It's been such an hour of a pod. We'll probably talk about this next week or the next time we pod. But I'm in the Codyverse. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm stuck in the Codyverse. I won't get out. I love seeing Cody Rhodes on my screen pause every time he shows up. Adrenaline is in my soul. You know what I mean? It's been a while since we've had like that suit and tie good baby face, like poster boy champion, man. Like we've been through the John Cena baggy shorts jeans era. We've been through the Randy Orton wrestling trunks and a t-shirt era. We've been through the Triple H. I mean, Triple H kind of done every era at this point. You know what I'm saying? We've had the Brock Lesnar here today, not here tomorrow era. We've had the Roman Reigns here today, not here for 6 weeks era. Like, it's kind of okay that we have a suit and tie credible poster boy champion for a change. Like, we haven't had that. Gunther's trying, but I just don't feel as though Gunther's title reign is it's hitting its mark. But it's working for me. Like, I enjoy Gunther matches, but it's just
Yeah, I enjoy him, but I agree. Like I
he's
think
not the
there's a
dastardly
disconnect.
heel that they want him to be. Like he's too good of a wrestler to boo. That's
Yeah.
how I feel looking
I
at him.
think the disconnect is it's hard to boo Gunther because like the nuance is that Gunther is just not a likable guy from a personality. He's arrogant, right? He knows how good he is, and he's going to
Yes.
tell you. But then he can also beat you clean. So it's the tough. It's a tough line to walk sometimes. And then like there isn't anybody. Like, look, say what you want about Jay Uso, but the crowd was 1,000% behind him and bit a couple of times on some of those pinfalls.
Same
So
with Sammy, which is
yeah.
funny enough that they've been quoting each other lately. So I don't know where that goes. But this could lead back to this title match with Cody and KO. Does Sammy interfere? Does Randy Orton interfere? Which one you got? You got one, the other, or both? Before we even choose a winner.
I would go with
Tough.
that is tough. I think Randy probably pops up in the Rumble. I mean,
Mm.
look, the way the WWE is doing things sometimes, like I could see both of them, kind of popping up to be
But
honest.
that's like that starts to like that match gets bloated at that point.
Peace.
Black wrestling. What up, Kings?
BRP, man. Yeah, no, it can get bloated, but look at for example, the Bloodline Tribal Combat match. It was bloated, so it's not out of their wheelhouse to do that. And I could see like what I was about to say is like Randy Orton maybe pops up as an entrant in the Rumble, but then Sammy is also like already confirmed for the Rumble. So Sammy's pulling double duty. Where does this match actually sit? Do we have the men's Rumble before or after this match? Like, it, I don't know. My
This is
answer
going
to
to
your
be
question is I don't know.
it's going to be one of the best men's Royal Rumbles, period, because
One
this
thousand
this
percent.
thing is this roster is so stacked right now that
Super,
I don't even want
super
Randy Orton
stacked.
in there because he's going to take a spot from Carmelo Hayes. He's going to take a spot from LA Knight. I need Randy Orton not even in the Rumble at all.
No, I think you said Carmelo and who?
LA Knight,
They're both
anybody that
confirmed.
there's still so many more people that I feel like they could pull out the woodworks where it's like
Yeah,
I wouldn't even do Randy Orton in the Rumble. I'd rather him just pop up and cause KO the match. I don't even
fair,
want Sammy to pop
fair.
up at all. What I'd prefer is if Kevin Owens goes to look at the ramp every couple minutes and kind of teases us, and everyone's just like, "Is Sammy gonna pop up?"
Yeah,
And he never
Sammy never
shows up.
comes out.
And Sammy never shows
Yeah,
up.
okay, yeah, that's dope.
And Sammy never shows
Which
up.
I think really, really sets the table for that one-on-one match that they're going to have at Mania.
Yo, dog, why is everyone scrapping their match from the Pandemic Mania like it never happened? Yo, it's like the Lakers championship.
Because nobody was there,
Like,
man.
yo, nobody's acting like like they're like, yeah, it's the first time they'll ever have a main event.
Yo,
It's like, yo, dog,
get
they
that.
had a one-on-one match at the Pandemic
They
WrestleMania.
sure did. Get that NBA Cup match out of here, bro. What we talking about?
It's like, yo, dog, we already seen them have multiple matches against each other. As a matter of fact, they actually did wrestle at WrestleMania. Why are we acting like
Look,
this is the fucking mecca of all matches?
it's not that there's a mecca. It's just that I think that's very clear that that's where they're going.
But what about Orton and KO? I thought that was for WrestleMania. I'd prefer that for WrestleMania if I'm keeping it a stack. I prefer Sammy go for the world title and Orton and KO for WrestleMania. Like in my fantasy
So
world,
you would have
Sammy
Sammy
wins
win the
Rumble.
Rumble?
No, I think he wins the Chamber to get to the Rumble, to get to WrestleMania. I
Okay.
think Sammy,
So we're looking at Sammy and Gunther.
again, to call back to last year and to the follow-up match that they had recently, to where it's like, yo, I've got your number. I could beat you to like now. The third rubber match, I got your ass. And Sami Zayn finally becomes the world heavyweight champion. Rightfully so. I think, if anything, that he said in his promos, like Sammy, these last couple weeks have made me feel like, yo, dog, why is he not the world heavyweight champion at some point, yo?
Ciandol, what up?
What up, girl? What's popping with you? Yeah, man, it's like, give Sammy the belt, man. Just it don't gotta be the extensive reign, but let Sami Zayn have a title run at the top for a change, man. Like
Fair
everyone's
enough.
been making comments about it in their promos. He's making comments. I'd prefer him over Jey Uso right now. Like I don't think I need to see the Jey Uso world heavyweight title reign just yet.
Here's an interesting question, right? Would a Jey Uso title reign have pretty much been a Joe Hendry title reign. Feels like kind of the same vibes, man.
The crowd rocks with Jey Uso before Yeet, so he's always going to still be a established guy to me because they fuck with him before before Yeet got crazy. He was all rocking with Jey Uso, so I think he's going to still stand the test of time when it's time for him to finally have that main event. Yo, I think he's got it in the bag tonight match. Like, I think tonight is the night they pull the trigger. Like, I think it'll work. You know what I'm saying? I just
Fair
don't think
enough.
it's right now, yo. It's just still too early. Like,
Yeah.
still too early. Yeet hasn't been a year yet, has it? Has it even been a year with Yeet? I don't even think.
Uh, right around maybe. Like they were doing that at last Mania.
Were they? Oh, fuck.
I don't. I don't. I don't remember. I
I
don't
don't remember
remember.
if they did, but it's
But to
close
me,
enough.
the comparison was there because it feels like as popular as he is, it feels like, oh man, that might be the peak. If you're going to capitalize now, would probably
Do
be
it
the
now.
time to do it. You know, think
Uh,
about like when Joe Hendry didn't win the title the first time, everybody was like, oh man, you blew it, and it ended up still kind of working out for him. But we'll see.
Still have to establish Joe Hendry.
Yeah, we'll see.
We gave him a reason to care.
So bottom
Regardless,
line here, Cody's
Cody.
definitely winning
Cody
this
wins.
match.
Cody
Yeah.
wins, man. End this feud. No more KO feud. It's been fun. It's been real, but it's been too much. I guess before we go to the Rumble match themselves, where does Cody pivot from here, with or without the winner being established? What happens for Elimination Chamber as we get into WrestleMania? Do you think Cody just kind of coasts by?
I think so because there's been a few pay-per-views here and there where there's
You're
either
right.
been a tag or he
You're right.
hasn't wrestled at all,
You're right.
and I think that's going to be the vibe. Depending on like I think the Rumble winner would make sense to be the guy that challenges Cody. So we immediately know what the main event is, and then we probably start to have like some tag matches and they interact, but we can't actually have the match until we get to Mania. But
Cody
yeah,
being
they might ice him for a little bit too.
Cody being the year-long champion is dope. I'd be happy to see that. I think
Yeah.
it'd be a really good reign too. I think he even retains at WrestleMania. I could be crazy, but
Interesting.
we'll save
Interesting.
that for the predictions of WrestleMania. I think he retains.
Yeah.
But it's Rumble time.
Rumble time. So we're wrapping up with the last two matches that we'll talk about. I have the confirmed names for both the women's and the men's. Let's go women's. There are less confirmed names for the women's Rumble. We have so far, according to the Wikipedia, we have Nia Jax, Bailey, Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Lyra Valkyria, Ivy Nile, and Io Sky.
So, do we want to go in the order of who's not winning?
Nah, I don't even want. I honestly think Charlotte Flair wins this.
I want to go against everyone and not say Charlotte Flair.
Is that the common answer?
Common
It
answer
is?
across
Okay.
anything I've
I'm
read,
looking at this with fresh eyes, and
listened
I'm looking
to.
at that, and a returning Charlotte Flair feels
Yeah,
like the winner of the Rumble.
everyone feels like it's the obvious choices: Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton, WrestleMania, blonde versus blonde bombshell, Tiffy time, Charlotte time, WrestleMania marquee match.
Mm-hmm.
The story writes itself. They were last working a program together before Charlotte got injured and took the year off. So they're kind of just working with that right now. I don't know, man. I can't predict it. I know I don't want it to be Bailey. I know I don't want it to be Bailey. I know it won't be Lyra. It won't be anybody from the TNA side. It won't be anyone from the NXT side. I'd love for it to be Bianca Belair, but she's had her shine. I think Naomi and Bianca's story already got a whole other side. Jade coming
I
back.
think Jade
Tiffany
returns
coming
and
back.
eliminates both of them.
Jade could come back. They still got a story to tell, so they got their WrestleMania shit. Liv Morgan, please no more Liv Morgan. Nia Jax has had her time. Raquel Rodriguez is too busy being a goofy gangster. Fuck, man. I hate that everyone makes it seem like Charlotte Flair, once you narrow down.
Look, I'm looking at this with fresh eyes, and that just makes the most sense to me.
I just narrowed down everyone you listed, and it's like,
Because, like, again, I'm
unfortunately,
looking like
Charlotte.
we just looking at Naomi and Bianca for starters. We know what's in their future. We
Yes.
have the elephant in the room is Jade. Plus they're the current tag champs. So we got to figure out what's happening with the tag titles. Nia Jax was just champ.
And just had a title match at the PLE. Has had a
Exactly.
title match the last 6 PLEs.
Exactly. there's some names like Raquel Rodriguez, for example,
Goofy
is
Gangster not winning that.
she's a goon.
Not winning
Um,
it. She'll get dumped over the top rope and can be
yeah,
a
I think Charlotte Flair is the clear unless there's somebody who's
Io
not listed.
Sky is
I
my
don't think EO
choice to
wins.
win the Royal Rumble. I'm
It'd
going
be
EO.
dope. I'm an EO
Taking EO.
Sky
I'm taking
fan.
EO. I'm taking EO.
I
I'm
mean,
taking EO. EO Rhea at WrestleMania for the world title. I'm taking it. Everyone loves EO Sky. We'll probably get an Oscar return.
yeah, I think Oscar comes back.
Dakota Kai's out for the time being.
Yep,
But
concussion, I think, right?
yes,
Yeah,
the drop kick she took was like when you saw
I
it
didn't
live.
see it.
I
Yeah,
saw it live. I was
yeah.
like, that looks like it hurt.
Uh,
Like that's one of those where you like, oh, turns out, yeah, that was the one.
yeah.
That was it. EO or Charlotte, but I'm going EO because EO I think could be the final two. Her and Charlotte are the final two. I'll go with that. But I do think EO takes it.
If EO wins, who does she challenge?
Rhea. That's the match that everyone's been. That's the match they've teased, and that's the match that would make the most sense given their history of NXT. Is her versus Rhea Ripley because that's the likely chance that
But
she.
what if Charlotte is the winner and challenges Rhea Ripley instead of the Tiffany Stratton match?
Yo, we've seen that during the pandemic, yo. We just saw that.
So what? I mean, we
we
just
just
saw it.
saw
That was
Rhea.
5 years ago. What do you mean we just
We
saw it?
saw Rhea and Charlotte have a feud already over a title. We've seen Rhea in. We've seen Charlotte. Well, shit, Charlotte and Tiffany hasn't really been explored
I
too
mean,
much.
look, but sure, sure, but that's also a different version of Rhea Ripley and a different version of Charlotte. We don't even know what Charlotte we're getting back, for starters. But Rhea Ripley is not the Rhea Ripley of
Rhea's
five
not the
years
same.
ago.
It looks like the same Charlotte as we pretty, unless she surprises us, of course. But it looks like we're gonna get the same Charlotte vibes.
I'm not saying character change. I'm just saying, like, at this stage in her career, she isn't chasing anything but her pop's record at this point.
Do we need to give it to her right out the gate?
I'm not saying she wins against Rhea. I'm just saying it could be a challenge.
I just don't want her to win it so early because then I feel like it's gonna put a cloud over the women's division, like kind of like the Brock
Look,
Lesnar to
LOL, Charlotte wins, bro. You know what type of time it is.
the
I'm not
Brock
saying that she wins, but
Roman
I'm
vibe.
saying that she's
No,
gonna
no, no,
win.
I know, but I'm just saying like fantasy book. If she did win the Rumble and then wins the title again, I just feel like yo, dog, again.
You know it's gonna
There's
happen.
there's
You know it's
EO
gonna
Sky
happen.
right here, man.
You know
Like,
what's
what
gonna
are
happen.
we
But there's
doing, yo?
also the reality that Charlotte winning again might not be much more than a 2-month reign.
Because she does drop. She doesn't really
She
have
drop. Yeah, she
long
doesn't
time.
have long reigns like that.
It's just stat padding. Fair.
You know?
Heavy stat padding on Charlotte
Yeah.
Flair title reign. So
Yeah.
you're right. She could drop that shit at fucking Clash in Paris or Bash in Berlin, and we'll be like, oh,
Exactly.
is Io Sky's champion now? All right,
Already?
yeah.
And then we don't see it for 6 months.
Well,
What happened to Charlotte? She was just in the Rumble.
yeah.
But yeah, so
that's it.
you're
That's the
going
one.
with EO. I'm going
Yes.
with Charlotte.
Yes.
We'll see. I mean, either way, there's going to be some fun returns, some fun debuts, some surprise pop-ups. Like Lita always seems to be a name that pops up around this time. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lita.
We got to
You know
chill
what I
with the
mean?
Lita recurrences, man. We've seen too much Lita pop ups during the Rumble. Can we get somebody fresh in the Rumble return?
Yeah, we're gonna get Jordan Grace. We're gonna get Jordan Grace. We're gonna get some names from NXT.
Masha Slamovich, I think would be dope. I'll take
Masha would be
I'll
dope.
take Masha.
Yeah.
I'll take Hardcore Country. I'll take Mickey James. It's just enough of the same old throwbacks in the women's Royal Rumble because we have realized that like
Man, you ain't looking forward to that Trish Status return?
hell yeah, Trish is fire. But like Lita
Same
does
old,
this.
same old. We see Trish.
We don't see Trish all the time though.
We see
Trish don't
Trish
do the
about as
Rumble.
often as we see Lita.
No, we don't. Lita, I
think
feel
we
like does
do.
the Rumble more times than Trish. Trish don't really be around like that. Trish said she'll come back if the story makes sense, but I think we get the Lita pops every couple of Rumbles. We get the Kelly, we get the Eve Marie's, you know what I mean? The same
Nah.
Michelle McCool.
Shouts to Alundra Blaze, man.
Yeah, like we got enough women right now where I think we'll be fine on the entries. We don't need to be like, oh man, her again?
Word. Men's Rumble. More
Yeah.
confirmed names. We have Carmelo Hayes, Brown Breaker, Chad Gable, Penna, Logan Paul, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Rey Mysterio, Drew Mack, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, CM Punk, John Cena, and LA Knight.
Coming from somebody that just rewatched the 2011 Royal Rumble, this might be one of the best Royal Rumbles of modern history.
This Rumble is very fun. It's very stacked. There are a lot of intertwining storylines that are happening, intertwining feuds. I think it's great. You know, a lot of
I,
dovetailing stories happening right here.
bro, it's crazy. I actually am like excited about a Royal Rumble, and considering we've been in the Paul Levesque era for a little while now, and we had last year's Rumble, but this year's Rumble just feels like it's a different type of excitement for me, Paul. It's like I'm more looking forward to like the different combinations. Like, let me actually see a quote that I just actually I posted on Twitter. Let me go ahead and try to find it. But it's in regards to the amount of people and amount of competitors that we have for the Rumble, which I think makes it a much more enjoyable Rumble. Here we go. The first Rumble I can remember where there are so many stories woven together and individual reasons for that title match chance. Now they have to pay it off, but man, they have so many paths for so many guys. And that's what I agree with. I'm like, you're right. Like, I really do appreciate the Rumble for that for a change. It's nice.
Yeah, I agree. Because like what's really cool about this, obviously there's gonna be one winner here, but there's gonna be so many things that set up the next 3 and 4 months that have already been set up. The breadcrumbs are already down there. So for example, like we've seen, even just look at CM Punk's promo from either last week, week before, whenever it was, where he mentioned, yeah, John Cena, he can't, see me, or Sami Zayn isn't on my level. And then we saw Sami Zayn interact with CM Punk this past Monday and say, yo,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on your level. I bet I'll see you. We know Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and their history. We saw Drew McIntyre approach um, Paul Heyman, tell your boy I'm coming. Nah, not Roman, Punk. So that's reviving their issue. We don't know what the favor is that CM Punk may or may not cash in as a result relates to Paul Heyman. We know Paul Heyman is back and advocating for Roman Reigns. There's a lot of things happening here. For example, John Cena coming back to win the Royal Rumble, and his last WrestleMania is his last chance to win a world championship match is interesting. We see like CM Punk, whose lifelong dream, he's done everything but main event a WrestleMania.
But win
That's
a Royal
interesting.
Rumble and win a
He
wrestling
win
Royal
win
Rumble.
he has to win the Rumble first. I saw, while I was setting up for the pod today, the interview that he did with Jackie Redmond that's on
Oh, I saw
WWE's
that. I
YouTube.
saw that. His
Really
mistake.
good interview. And it was cool to when she asked him, about the Rumble, he said, "Man, it's scarier to think about winning the Rumble than it is to lose the Rumble, to be eliminated from it. Because what happens if I achieve all of these things that my North Star has been my North Star for so long? What happens if I finally like kind of reach up and grab it all? You know, I have to figure out new motivation, or do I fall out of love with this thing? Like, there's so many stories here that are intertwined. Seth Rollins has had beef with Punk for the longest. Sami Zayn has been accidentally haluva kicking people left and right. You
There's
know,
the chance of Randy Orton possibly coming back. There's
Randy Orton comes.
Penta's gonna be here in the Royal Rumble
Yeah,
as well.
Penta debuting his first Royal Rumble ever. His Royal Rumble debut is dope. We just saw Logan Paul and his promo, right? So you know that there's going to be people that are gunning for Logan Paul just because
The
he's
U.S.
disliked.
title division literally is
Exactly.
in that match.
Right.
They're all in there between
Like,
Melo, Shinsuke.
I was about to say, think of the ego between like the interaction of like Carmelo Hayes and Chad Gable and Logan Paul. Like, think of just those three names right there, and the level of ego. All these guys want to, be the center of attention and stand out. Like, that's interesting. The point is, Jay Uso just coming off of his title
Jimmy
opportunity.
Uso being in there against Jay.
Right. Right.
I think
We haven't seen Solo Sokoa in months or weeks rather.
Jacob Fatu
Jacob
could
Fatu. You know what I mean? Think Jacob Fatu and Penta interaction in the Rumble. Just has a little preview for what we could get later on down the line between those two.
the Randy Orton return to RKO Jacob Fatu again.
Right?
There's a
There's
lot of things
a
that
lot
they're
of fun to be had here.
fam. I watched the 2011 Royal Rumble, and it was the largest Royal Rumble
Was it
at 40 men.
40?
It was
What?
40
How
men.
many is this year?
30.
30, right? Yeah.
Bro, I watched that Royal Rumble the other night and I was like, yo, this is like the worst shit I've ever seen, bro. Like, and I remember this era because this was when the Miz was WWE champion. So like, you had Ricardo Rodriguez,
He was
Alberto
in
Del
the
Rio,
Rumble?
Alberto Del Rio's manager was in the Rumble. You had Michael Cole in the Rumble. You had
Oh, that was the
Ricky
year
Rose.
from
That was the year all the announcers were in the Rumble.
no, but that was the singlet year, right?
That was the singlet year. You
Yeah.
had that happening. You had every jobber. You had Dolph Ziggler lose the world title match in the opening match against Edge, and he was in the Rumble. You had Randy Orton lose against The Miz, and he was in the Rumble. Like, I've seen some terrible Royal Rumbles. yo, yo,
I've seen some things.
I've seen some horrible Royal Rumbles, like in real time and on the rewind. And it's like, there was a reason that I was really excited about this Rumble this Saturday. Like, yo, I'm genuinely intrigued to watch this PLE on Saturday. Like, very much so because of the stories that have been going on here. So, as far as who's gonna win, you wrap up. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Tribal Chief, man. To tie it, to get the record up, I'm gonna go Tribal Chief. Actually, no. I'm gonna go Punk. I think I'm gonna just take Punk. It makes sense for him to finally get this accolade of winning the Royal Rumble, something that he hasn't done. Like if there's he's done everything in WWE, but win the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania. So Roman has won the Royal Rumble. He'll be fine. He can find his way to Elimination Chamber. John Cena, I think he'll find his way at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think like once we're in SummerSlam season,
It's too early for this, man. It's just
yeah,
too early for us to be like, yo, is John gonna beat Cody Rhodes? Like, honestly, no, I don't think he's gonna beat Cody Rhodes. Like, I just don't think he's gonna do it. So, like, why get our hopes up like this? And then why even have a year-long a 6-month run of John Cena as the champion? How I predicted John Cena's last match, so I think he wins the belt on his way out. To be honest, I think he causes hysteria
on
by
some Sting, like on a Sting vibe, basically.
there we go.
Yeah.
Like on the last match, the last chance, he wins it in Newbury or Boston, Massachusetts, and it's like, wait, is he gonna stay now? Or does he vacate the title? Like, I think that's where John Cena's championship ambitions go. It's just too early for it. I think Logan Paul takes him out though. I think Logan Paul is the only heel that could capitalize off of the heat of eliminating John Cena out of his last Royal Rumble, which sets their matchup. I think that works. Roman, I just can't call it. I think Solo and the Bloodline will have more to do with that. Punk's enemies will figure themselves out. Like they'll all cancel each other out and get Punk to where
Yeah.
he needs to be.
Yeah. I can see like maybe we do Roman and Jacob Fatu at Mania.
That's a good one.
You know, like I think that might be the direction. I think it's Punk. I think they foreshadowed that Punk and Cody enough. I think they wanted to do it maybe last year. Injuries getting away, you know. But I think it's gonna be Punk that wins, and he's gonna pick Cody. So there's your Mania main event. And then as far as who actually wins, it's tough to tell. I think I could see Cody retaining against Punk.
Me too. I could see it happening as well too.
Yeah, I
I
can
could
see
see
Cody retaining against Punk.
just their interaction on Raw and just Cody just looking like, oh fuck, I'm still the champion and I gotta
Yeah,
do.
which again, I think that's such an interesting
I
story.
love
Like it's
this stuff.
almost like Punk is saying, "Yo, I'm gonna beat you for your own good." You know what I mean? I got to take the
Yeah,
title off of you as a friend.
yeah,
That's interesting. That's really, really that's a dope. And what I think that does, it opens the door for either of them to turn heel. You know, it opens the door for Punk to turn heel because that's very manipulative and sinister. But what I think is more likely is it gives Cody room to turn heel, maybe just within this storyline, maybe just within the match, maybe not even a long term thing, but just when they finally do get to the match, because it's like Cody has been pushed and pushed and pushed, and now he finally hits his breaking point in order to retain his title. He has to do something a little dastardly, and then damn, my bad, that wasn't me. I was under a cloud. So I think that that's the storyline though. Like it's Punk trying to beat Cody for Cody's own good, and Cody trying to not cross the line, still remain himself, but still defend his championship.
So
That's interesting.
WWE takes the different route and doesn't give us Cody Roman 3.
Yeah, well,
Cody Roman 3, the
that's
family,
the other thing. Like I
the
doubt that
bloodline family.
they're not main eventing Mania with the same match 3 years in a row. That's
I
a
mean,
very
we've done it.
Balea, huh?
We've done it. We've done it. They've seen it. We've really seen it.
I don't think they're doing
Undertaker,
it though.
Shawn, Undertaker, Triple H, Austin at Rock.
But to be fair, Austin Rock did it back to back 2 years in a row.
Lesnar, Roman Reigns. What are we saying? Come on. How many matches have we seen? Bro, I watched them have a match mad years at WrestleMania main event, son, and nobody like
That's true. That's true.
collectively we all was groaning then at the time. So it's like
Here's one. Here's a question. Is there any involvement from Dwayne Johnson?
I'm gonna treat it like AEW, and I'm gonna just live a life without The Rock right now. I'm gonna just take what's at face value and just work with what we
Okay.
got.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna treat it like AEW. Like
Fair enough.
I can't think about Ricky Starks in his career until after March when his contract. So like when he's a free agent, I'll think about Ricky Starks again.
Fair enough.
I
I
can't think about
agree.
Rod going to do, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just too much back and forth here today, going tomorrow. Will he be
Yeah.
at me? Like, dog, I don't care, man. Like if he shows up, he shows up. He's not gonna put on a fucking banger. He's not gonna put on a better match than anybody that's currently in the Royal Rumble.
Nah, not at all.
So like
Not at all.
his involvement to me is just gonna be like, oh, great. Him and Cody, are we gonna finish this or what?
But yo, to be fair, like the energy that he brought to Mania last year really made
Nah, it turned that
Mania
shit around.
season.
It turned it
Yeah,
around. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna
yeah.
shy away from it, but I just feel like we aren't. We can't hold this WrestleMania up on The Rock, dog. The way we talking about the Royal Rumble this year, like, what are we waiting on The Rock for?
No, I don't yeah, I don't think it needs it.
We're
I'm
good.
just curious if at all during this season he
Does he
interjects
pop up?
himself into a prominent, you know, role.
You
But
know, we say Punk, but he's got to use that favor. And if I have to just shoot out a line before we leave, is Roman wins the Rumble, and then Punk calls in his favor and makes a triple threat. Mad weird, and we don't have to deep dive it because we about to get off. But like that's where I think the favor goes. The favor you got to use the favor at some point. You got to do the shit. So like, what do? I lost the Rumble. The man's won. Yo, I need the favor. Put me in a match of Mania.
what I think the favor is, and then we could wrap, is less of I think it's Paul has to convince Roman to help Punk the same way Paul convinced Punk to help Roman.
Against the
Against
new crew.
whatever issue Punk has or whatever opportunity Punk has. Think about we're in Mania, it's Punk versus Cody, and the favor is Roman has to interfere on Punk's behalf. And then we have that interaction with Cody and Roman again, but it's all because Heyman owes Punk a favor. You know, refs down, here comes Roman Reigns. What's he gonna do?
I
You
guess
know?
I see that.
Yeah.
That seems safe.
But I think that's what it is. I think like it's Roman, you owe me one. You know, you owe me one.
Either of our ways I can see being done. I can see
Yeah.
that way happening because Roman still has the bloodline shit to deal with. So like if he takes himself out of Punk and Cody, they'll get back to it again at a later date.
100%. Yeah, run Jacob Fatu and Roman at Mania, please.
Anything but solo Roman, anything. It's crazy. And we'll talk about it on future episodes, but
Yeah.
what a fucking season he's gonna end up having to have. Like he's gonna be on the outskirts. I think him and Jay probably have
You know, till Jacob Fatu hit solo with that triple moonsault.
Yo, man, Solo Sokoa is gonna be on the outskirts of this WrestleMania. I think him and Tonga no. I just
Nah,
said
don't do that. Don't do
I
that.
just said it. I just said him and Tama versus the Usos. There we go.
Solo and Tama Tonga versus the Usos.
Yes. Usos reunion versus the Tongans. Solo and Tama. Because Tonga Low is still out. So if Jacob goes his solo route against Roman, I think Solo and the Usos find each other again and they have their tag team match. And
Yeah, I can see that.
That's
I
that.
can see that. I can see that.
That is that. But nah,
All right,
we
man.
gonna be it for WrestleMania, man. We might go live
Facts.
on y'all. You know what I'm saying? If we go live, we'll let y'all know on the social medias. We will be watching. I'm excited. I'm hyped. Every WrestleMania season, I'm always geeked, man.
Love this time of year, bro.
One of my favorite times of the year. I'm gonna be tuned in, live and direct, popcorn, drink, everything gonna be loaded up, rolled up.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's Saturday. I
I
can't wait.
do appreciate everybody that tuned in,
Much
everybody
love.
that commented, everybody that shared,
Thank you.
liked.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. We're back in the building. That was, I believe, 114.
Yes, sir.
Ringside Club. Blame Boogie with the running earlier. Peace to the God.
I'm
My name is AO.
young Godiva Chad Law.
Yes, sir.
We out ski.
Out of here. Peace.